Bosh! Squeeze the neck! And we are today, Daniel Terry Fight Team, I think is where we're at. Yeah. With the main man, Daniel Terry, and the new breed, Kayin Terry. I was going to give you a nickname then, we'll save it till later, we'll give you one on the podcast. But just for context, guys, you're how old now?
I'm 15.
15, and we used to come to a wrestling class I taught when you was what, 9? Something like that? So
something like that, yeah.
You still have to bow to me, you still have to call me teacher, boss, whatever you like. We'll get to that later. But as we are here, you can see the bags behind us. We are Thai boxing now, right? No more grappling for you?
Not that often.
Not that often. So with Thai boxing, you're fresh off a fight, which we'll come to as well, which was what? So we're Saturday today. It was a week ago today, right? Yeah. So it'll be longer, obviously, when this comes out. You might have had another one even by then. But like, how many Thai fights you had now, mate?
I have had 8.
8 Thai fights. And what's the rules with, like, I don't want to call you a kid, it sounds condescending, doesn't it? But do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the rules with youth? Are they full Thai rules, or is there sort of specifics that you have to abide by?
Well, my first one was in Thailand, so I did like everything to the head, no shin guards, but I just didn't do elbows because I never had any experience with elbows. And then when I came here, because I'm under 16, I have to do like body shots with the sock shin guards and the body pad. It's not fun.
It's not fun, but your first fight was in Thailand, you said. Which is a bit of an experience in itself, isn't it? Like I saw the videos, like I've done training with your dad back in the day, held pads for me and like bashed me up a little bit. And we used to actually, we'll get into this later. We spoke about this on the podcast before, but we used to meet up during lockdowns and have a tear up in Battersea Park like a couple of lunatics when you weren't supposed to go near no one. But that's a story for another day. But we're if you go like back to your first fight was in Thailand, you was how old?
14.
Oh, so it's fairly recent. Like when you say 14, like yeah, Jesus Christ. But what's the thinking behind your Thai fights at the moment, mate? Is this like a career for you? This is what you want to do?
Yes.
And at the age you are, to start thinking about like a career and be good at it. And what you had, 8 fights, you said?
Yeah.
8 fights undefeated?
Yes.
Gosh, there you go. We're getting you on here early before you get too famous and too big for us. But like, what's training like now? Like obviously your dad, I believe he was a European champion, Dan, right? Yes, there you go. We'll plug you later, mate. Don't worry about that. We'll get you on. But like, he poked his head up there, like, yeah, I was. But he's, yeah, me. But he's a European champion dad. So you obviously, to get to that kind of, anywhere near that kind of level, he's been through ups and downs and training and bad training, good training, all the shit that goes with it. Like, what's training look like for you, mate? Because at your age, and I'm assuming your dad's telling you this, is like, your body like rejuvenates like no one's business. As you get older, like the niggles accumulate. And I don't think it's even that you're getting older, it's just that you've been in it for a long time. I'm assuming you wake up in the morning, bounce out of bed and ready for training, right?
Most days.
Most days. Oh, you're getting a bit older as well, are you, at the grand old age of 15? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
But like, what's a typical training week? Because you're still at school, right?
Yeah.
Which is even more funny. But like, what's a typical training week look like for you? If you wake up on a Monday morning, obviously you're going to school that day, but take us through your training.
I wake up, go to school, I come home, get my stuff, and then on Mondays, I go to Fight Zone London.
Oh, you're still over there? Okay.
Yeah. And then for one session that he teaches. And then he comes here in the evening and I come with him on the line back. And then that's it for Monday. And then Tuesday, I go to, same thing, I go to school, I come home, get my stuff, go to John Durant's, and then I come here. And then Wednesday is the same as Monday, and then Thursday is the same as Tuesday, and then Friday is the same as Monday and Wednesday, and then Saturday we go for a run, we run here, and then we train here from like 1 to 3, I think it is, yeah.
But at no point during that discussion did I hear you say you was getting up before in the morning and cracking 6 raw eggs in a glass before you go running. So if you ask me, mate, you're slacking a little bit. But when you're getting ready for a fight, like training camp's something I ask people a lot, but you're obviously like, at this point in your life, I would imagine there's no training camp, right? Your whole life's a training camp. Is every week sort of the same? There's no sort of special treatment when you've got a fight coming up?
Not really. Well, when I don't have like a fight date, then I have like one rest day. But then when I do have a fight day, I don't have any rest days.
Don't have any rest days? 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Until the week of the fight, then I calm it down a little bit.
And what about, because again, like I keep bringing up the age, but like, is weight an issue at this point, or do you just fight at what you're walking around at?
I cut a little bit of weight. Like I only cut like maybe 3 kilos.
But that's pretty significant, isn't it, at your age? You know what I mean?
It's not that hard.
It's not? Okay. What's a weight cut like for you? Is that like an extra large pish in the morning or what? What are we talking about?
It's kind of just towards the last, you just stop eating like salt, and towards the last 2 days, like you water load, and then on the last day, on the day before, you don't drink anything, and then you wake up in the morning on weight pretty much.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. You're all set to go. Do you weigh in on the day of the fight, or are you day befores?
I've done a couple day before, and then I've done some now on the day.
You got superstar treatment already. Jesus Christ! Who gets a day before weighing? Dan, what's going on here, man? You're bringing him up in silk sheets and stuff, and what's going on? He gets a day before weighing. But like, how many fights is an ideal like year for you? I know we're early days. You're only 15, but like, if you look at we're sort of coming up to halfway through 2025 already. Like, how many fights do you want to have by the end of the year?
By the end of the year, probably at least I want to have at least.
Go on, be bold. How many's at least?
I'm thinking. What do I?
Work it out the other way. How often do you like to fight?
I want to fight at least like once a month.
Right, is that a kind of a good pace? Because was it 3-round fights you were fighting or what?
I've had some 3 rounds, some 5 rounds.
Some 5 rounds, but either way, it's not like you know that you can get through them, right? So your body, and again, I keep mentioning the age, but you get through that, right? You're not going to come out like too crippled and whatnot. But when you say you like your training and stuff like that, are you into your strength and conditioning at this age, or is it more just like turn up, do your Thai boxing, go home?
I don't do that much strength and conditioning. I used to do it sometimes with him, like once a week. But now it's just I just turn up, do Thai boxing, and then go home.
That's cool though, isn't it? But like, is Thai boxing a career you want? You're not interested in grappling and other stuff at this point. What happened, bro? You was one of my little prodigies as a 9-year-old. What's going on here?
I don't know.
You let your old man get in your head, didn't you? That's what happened with his Thai boxing nonsense.
To be honest, I was into football for a while, and then.
Oh, we'll come on to that later, man. You better have the right answer for me because I've seen a funny couple of kits on your Instagram. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that. So football is what? Is still a thing, or are you just Thai boxer now? Oh, sorry, I asked you about grappling, didn't I? Before I went on a mini rant about football. But like, what's your ambitions with Thai boxing? Is it just you want to go and fight in Thailand? You want to do the big stadiums and all that business?
Yes, I want to. My dream is to have fought on the most promotions that I could ever have fought.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So with promotions and stuff like that, does that include things like one championship and all that kind of business?
Yeah, I want to fight on everything. I want to fight on RWS. I want to fight on MTGP. I want to fight on Hitman. I want to fight on one championship. I want to fight on all of them.
That's interesting, that, isn't it? Because the reason I ask about one, I was at one championship when Jonathan Haggerty and Liam Harrison fought. They obviously didn't fight each other, but they both it was a bad night for the boys actually, wasn't it? But they both lost. But it's different, isn't it, when you watch it close? Like I've seen Thai fights up close, but they got the little gloves on. And that, have you ever sparred or anything and done any of that business? Because I would imagine that's a different experience.
I've played around a little bit with the small gloves, but that's only as like a joke. But
yeah, because from what I've heard from people that have done Thai boxing in both, they say it's not so much the attack side of things, it's more the defence side of things. With I think it was someone was saying about long guard, you can't do long guard because it leaves too many open. I don't know, I'm speaking kind of like foreign, aren't I? But do you know what I'm saying? Like there's differences with it. Is that that's part of the game? Is it you just want to fight all sorts?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we go like, what age can you turn pro? How does that work? Because you're again 15, so what is it? 18? Is it that simple or not?
I don't know the age where you can turn pro. What's the age that you can turn pro?
Depends if you're telling the truth about your age.
Oh dear. If you didn't do that because he's not on the mic, might have insinuated that Kayin might have to lie about his age. So, you know, he's not really 15, he's 25. He just looks young, got a fresh baby face. But we've because I mean, if you go to like Canelo, I think turned pro as a boxer at 15, didn't he? Like, which is a bit nuts. But anyway, well, in Thailand, don't they fight for a living like early? Yeah. Don't they like 9-year-old boys fighting for their family and stuff like that? So you're already behind, bro. You're fucking slacking. I don't know what you're talking about. But from Thai boxing, is that a realistic? I mean, I guess it is with the one championships and stuff like that. Now, I was going to ask if it's a realistic way to make a full living, but I guess it is nowadays, isn't it?
If you get to
the top level, obviously, I mean, you better be good anyway. If you're not good, like, what are we doing here? So if we look at like your first fight, you was 14 years old. What's the thinking behind? Were you already into the like, I want to do this for a living at that point, or was it just I want to have a fight and see how I feel?
First fight, I just wanted to see how it felt to fight, And I just loved it ever since. Without shin guards and all that stuff.
Yeah. What ages does all that drop at? Because we were speaking briefly off camera about, like, I think you said N class, I think there's C class and A. What other class? Tell us that before I sort of butcher it. What sort of classes for adults to fight at?
There's N class, C class, B class, and then there's Pro-Am, and then there's A class, I think.
And A class is what, full Thai rules?
Yeah.
And back from that, they work out. Maybe we'll ask your dad a bit later about the specifics of that. But like certain ones have shin guards on, some don't, some allowed elbows. Am I somewhere right when I'm saying that?
I think N class is the only one with shin guards. And then C class, I think you don't have shin guards, but you can't elbow or knee to the head. So I think it's only punching and kicking to the head. And then B class, I think you can knee to the head, but you can't elbow to the head, and you can do everything to the head. And then Pro-Am, I think that's where you have elbow pads, and you can do everything, and then elbow to the head, but with elbow pads. And then A class is just, you can do everything.
And if you mention these classes in Thailand, do they look at you like you're stupid or something? Is it just Thai rules in Thailand?
Kind of.
Because I would, like, when I've trained out there, I've done some Muay Thai and stuff, and like, there don't seem like there's a lot of that going on, right? It seems like you hit the pads, you kick a million times, and then like just have, you know. But I say that, the sparring's playful, isn't it? The sparring's not like, they're not having awards in the gyms. But from what I experienced that day, and obviously I haven't got much experience with it, but when I've done some sparring and stuff, it seems like the Thai style is very playful. But then when they, in the afternoon, they come back and they do boxing sparring, they seem like they was trying to take everyone's head off, which is a bit, you know, I guess they're not looking after their head, they're just looking after their legs, but I don't know. We'll see how they look in 50 years' time, but you don't seem to get many, like, Thais that get to, well, I don't know, not that I'm walking down the street knowing many Thais that used to have, that have had 300 fights, but my point was, you don't see them like boxers that, you know, struggling with their speech and whatever, and things like that, but you're not at the level to have to worry, or you're not at the age, sorry, to have to worry about any of that nonsense yet, are you? But take us through like a Muay Thai session, because one thing, for anyone who doesn't know, Muay Thai is different to sort of what you call kickboxing, right? Like the clinch work, the elbows and all that kind of stuff. I've done little bits of the clinch, which I enjoyed actually, probably because of grappling more, but they... What's a typical Thai boxing session look like for you, mate? Because I think a lot of people think you just hit the pads and kick the bag and run and that's it, which maybe they're right, but you tell me.
Are you talking about here or in Thailand?
Both. Whatever you do, you tell me what's the best way to train. You're going to be world champion, right?
Yes. In Thailand, you start with the run, and you do some skipping, and then that's pretty much your warm-up. And then you might do some stretching if you want, and then you just hit pads, and then you spar, and then you clinch. And
is that every day? That's just like...
Pretty much every session.
Do they train 7 days a week as well?
No, I think they train 6 days a week, but twice a day.
Okay, that was my experience, yeah, 6 days. From, I think, where I was, like, where I've done bits and pieces, it was like 6 days a week, maybe twice a day. Oh, so it was twice a day, maybe once on a Saturday, all that kind of stuff, and then Sunday just chills out. The gym kind of goes dead from where I was, and it's a bit of a sort of eerie, like, ghost town vibe, isn't it? But with, like, clinch work, take us through that, because I think that's the thing that will make most people sort of like, what's clinch work, if they don't know Thai boxing? Because if you ever see it online, there's a lot going on there, isn't there? Take us, how do you go and work on your clinch work?
It is, I can tell you what, it's just sweaty. It's so...
Do you do it with gloves on?
Sometimes, maybe if you're preparing for a fight.
Does it make much difference?
Yes, but no at the same time.
Okay.
Because when you're clinching without gloves on, you clinch like you have gloves on.
Okay.
Like you don't close your fingers like that.
But nor should you anyway. That's the way to grip anyway. If I'm grappling, I have no gloves on. That's the way you do it. And with the grappling, I'll tell you what, I'll bring it back to the grappling. I kind of cut you off earlier when we were talking about grappling. What happened with that, and what sort of, why are you not doing it anymore?
Well, I was doing grappling, and then I had a short period where I went to football, and then I came back to grappling, and I just felt like I just kind of just lost it.
Is that right? Just didn't fancy it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why I asked as well. What brought it to my mind was Issa Rahman. You know him? Rahman? I don't know if I pronounced his name right. But we, shout out El Monstro. He was on the podcast. I was up there. I was over at Fight Zone with him. And he said about you, like, he used to train with you and whatnot and stuff like that. And I was like, where's he gone, blah, blah. And like, he kind of like he didn't roll his eyes, but I'm going to, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? He rolled his eyes and spat on the floor and said, that Kayin. Nah, but he said, like, he used to train me. You're the same, you're a bit younger than him though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a purple belt already at such a young age. And like, we haven't got a rolling yet, man. I'm still coming for you. Don't think I've forgotten you. But Fight Zone now, you still train over there now and do all that. But like, what's the vibe like with Marco? Is Marco like, come on, bro, let's get back on the mat. It's De La Riva, bro. Paul Guard.
He wants me to come back. I think soon after summer holidays.
No ambitions of MMA. It's all Muay Thai all the way. Come on, bro. Nah.
I used to have some ambitions for MMA, but then I just stopped liking BJJ as much. So,
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't do it. Just be so good at wrestling that no one can take you down. What's the matter with you? Common sense, no? Common sense. But like, we've going forward with like, again, I keep bringing it back to age. I'm like a broken record. But like, the difference just physically between someone who's 15 and someone who's 18, without even doing anything, is huge, right? So weight classes come into play, like you're saying, with the weight cut. Do you cut, like, how does that work? Because I've seen it with boxers, like in amateur boxing, when you're seeing like the younger kids cutting weight, and I just go, I'm not a fan. But you said it's easy for you right now, but are you married to a weight class, I guess is what I'm saying at this point in your life? Because where you're at in terms of growth and whatever, you're not going to be the same at 18. You're not going to be fighting in the same weight class regardless. Like, where's the cut-off point? Do you see what I mean? Are you aware of that, or is that just something you don't even worry about?
I don't really stick to a weight class.
Okay.
Because like, he wants me to just be a kid and grow.
Yeah.
So,
Also, no, man, he's only a European champion. He doesn't know nothing, does he? So, no. Tell him to calm down. But like, what weights do you fight at now? What do you fight at now?
My first fight, they said that I was 50, but I weighed like 55, 56. But I didn't need to weigh in for some reason.
And would you weigh now, like sitting here with me?
Right now, I probably weigh like 61, 62.
Right, so you're going to probably, at 15 now, you're probably going to end up somewhere, I mean, I don't know, mid-70s, aren't you? 75, I guess, somewhere like that? Or am I off with that?
I don't know.
I guess you never know, right? Because we've all got kids, not we've all got kids. We've all known kids that we've grown up with. We've all got kids we grew up with? No. We've all known kids we've grown up with that are like, you know, big for their age and whatever, and they end up being the 5'4" little bloke at the end of the day, right? And then there's other kids that grow late and all that, so don't take any notice of me in terms of growth. But if you go forward for like, let's say you're 15 now, 10 years, which is, I mean, I know it feels like a lifetime to you, right? But 15 to 25, you're not even in your prime yet, you're not even peaking, is what I'm trying to say. And then if you go from that, like, where do you want to be, ideal world? Because the reason I ask it now at your age is like, unrealistic don't even come into play, right? Whereas if you speak to a 25-year-old about the next 10 years, you know, they start sucking their lip and telling you what's realistic and, I don't know. But at your age, anything, you can go to whatever level you want, right? So like, where are you in 10 years in an ideal world?
Where do I want to be? I want to be world champion.
What, Muay Thai or Jiu Jitsu?
Muay Thai.
No ambitions of anything else at this point. So, I mean, I keep pushing you on it to see if I can get a little wiggle room out of you, but like Muay Thai all the way. And with like, when I've been out to Thailand and stuff like that and spoke to people that do it properly, and your dad as well, like it's the big stadiums they mentioned, like Lumpini and Ranjamandurn. I'll probably pronounce the second one wrong, but like, is that still, are they still held in high regard, or is it more like you won championships to make more money and stuff?
Yeah.
They're still the golden ticket.
Yeah.
Because, well, how does that work? Because I'm not too educated on that. Like, they say like a stadium champion and stuff like that. What's that, and what's the difference between that and a world champion, or are they just different types of world champion?
To be honest, stadium champion, I don't know what that means, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess, because I tell you, the reason I ask is like, someone says I'm a world champion kickboxer, right? And like, I've spoken to a lot of people that are world champion kickboxers. That word gets kind of like, well, bastardized, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, a kickboxing world champion, there's 75 million different kickboxing champions, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Whereas Muay Thai, the Muay Thai people, I'm assuming, it sounds like a silly question coming out of your mouth. Do they class themselves as a kickboxer, or do they hold their head high and they're above that nonsense?
They call themselves boxers.
Boxers? Is that what, just in Thailand they're just boxers?
In Thailand, it's literally just, they're boxers.
Yeah, that's interesting, that, isn't it? Because I'm assuming when you was in Thailand, you went to stadium shows and watched people fight and stuff like that.
I went to Ansa, and then I went to one where he fought.
Right.
That was it.
Right. And you fought in Thailand as a 14-year-old, that's a life experience, and you can retire now, mate. You can get back to Jiu Jitsu, stop all this nonsense. I'm telling you. But like, because one thing that and I think I asked your dad about this back when we had the podcast, but like the scoring system in Thailand, like when I've watched Thai fights up close, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. A lot of it, was going over my head. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And people are cheering at certain things. I didn't realise what they should be cheering for. Sometimes certain things happened, and I was like, I thought people are cheering more for that. But like, what is it? Because from what you hear from people, and I don't know how true it is, you'll know better, is like the first round doesn't get scored as much as the last round and all that kind of stuff, or the betting plays a big part. Like, do you know much about the scoring? Do you know how that works? Or
yes, in the first round, you see in like traditional Muay Thai fights, you see them like more relaxed, and then second they start to ramp it up a little bit. Third, fourth, and like half the fifth, that's when they're like trying to really win. And then in the last round, like at the end, near the end, if they both think they're winning, they might like start dancing around a little bit, acting like, yeah, I won, just to try and win the judges over.
Right.
And the person who's like chasing, seen as the person who's kind of losing. So
That's interesting, because with like traditional boxing scoring, it's sort of been brought into MMA as well, isn't it? Like, I'm a big MMA fan, right? I know you're looking at me at the side of your eye like I'm dirty or something, but hey, this is what we do, sir. But like, this point system, is that the same, or is it more sort of round? I don't know, how does it work? I'm asking you. Do they do a 10-point must system or what?
What, as in like
10, 9 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that still happens. Yeah. That still goes. Because I tell you why I ask, and it'd be interesting to see someone who's sort of coming into a career, what they think about scoring systems. Like, I feel like in boxing it's a bit different because it is a bit more, not a game, it's a fight obviously, but you know what I'm saying, there's a bit more of a game aspect to it, as in you're only allowed to use 2 hands, you're only allowed to hit this part of the body, etc. Whereas Muay Thai and definitely MMA, where it's more open, to me, I go, we could almost watch a fight. If me, you, your dad, and a few others that are into fighting and stuff, we watch the fight. We're not scoring it, we're talking. We're watching the fight, but we're kind of like here, there, and everywhere. If we watch what's going on, you got an idea of who wins, right? We don't need a pen and paper and whatever. And I feel like that might be a better way to score fights in terms of like who won. Versus, I don't know, there's flaws in that too, but versus like, right, well, he landed a left hook and he did an elbow and now a knee. Well, that's got. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see? Yeah. Like, how would you score a fight? Is what I'm trying to say.
How would I score?
Would points even come into play?
I think just whoever, in my opinion, whoever just looks like most unaffected, like who just looks the slickest. Like
right.
Just the movement, they don't look desperate, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I think, like, yeah. Because they score kicks more heavily and stuff, right? Damage is very sort of a premium in Muay Thai. I think your dad was telling me this once, and I kind of zoned out because I was like, you might as well speak in Japanese to me, bro. But yeah, I gotcha. I just like, you know, you're too young to understand the Churchill dog, but your dad would know. The Churchill dog that used to be in the back of the car, I was like one of them, just like nodding, like, hey, I know what you're talking about, bro, yeah. But like, when's your next fight, mate? We've got a fight lined up.
June 28th, I should be fighting.
Perfect. Where's the fight?
In the O2, again.
In O2?
Yes.
Like Indigo, is this?
Yeah.
We're talking Indigo. Anyone who hasn't been to fight night at the Indigo in the O2, go in there. I've been in there for some wild fight nights, and I've told the story on there before about the freak show MMA that I went to over there, where they was bringing people, like, felt like they was pulling people out of the crowd to have fights. But it was a good night. But if we can get the old man in, I'll call him the old man because we're on camera. If we can get Dan in as well to jump in on this, what I'll do, mate, is I'll take this off you. And I'll just so we can hand it just between the two of us. Oh, there we go. So stay in. You're not running off. Hey, you stay on camera. Where do you think you're going? Huh? This is Kayin Terry's podcast. Have that, mate. Just hold it somewhere around your mouth. Yeah. But like for you as a dad, like we're having some fun in here, right? But like he's becoming a young man, right? Like what is it like as a dad to see your boy fight? Because like you said before, and we'll get into it. You was on a fight card once with your missus. Yeah. You've cornered your son, that's like, for a lot of people listening to that, that's madness, right? Like, is that as scary as it sounds, or can you put the coach hat on and be like, yeah, I'm all right?
Do you know what? I mean, to be honest, if I'm completely honest, like sometimes, because I love the sport, obviously. He loves the sport, and it's beautiful that he loves the sport and we got this thing to share. But sometimes I do think to myself, am I doing the right thing? Do you know what I mean? Because fighting is dangerous. Fighting is, you know, you're not jumping in and tickling each other, right? So
depends how you fight.
well, yeah.
I know some people that tickle each other.
Stop that.
Yeah, Kayin, we're getting out by your 8th fight.
Yeah. So look, it's a part of me. I like the fact that when he did Jiu Jitsu, there was no, you know, I'm not putting him in harm's way in terms of, you know, shots to the head. You know what I mean? I felt like I was a good dad back then.
Now what? Now you're a bad dad, is
Now,
it?
yeah, I don't know what to say, man. You know, I am torn, if I'm honest.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Which is why, you know, there is the option for him to have headshot fights. And after seeing him in Thailand, having that first fight, I know what he's made of now. And, you know, every fight's different, of course, but I always knew he was tough. But when I saw him fight, no shin guards, you know, it wasn't quite full Thai rules, because I said I don't want elbows, because I was like, listen, we've practiced none of that. Not throwing them, but more defending against elbows is more the important thing. So for me, it's like, listen, I've never seen him do a full contact fight in an interclub or whatever it is, so why am I going to watch this now? If I've got an option to request no elbows, and when I found out I could, I was like, right.
In Thailand as well, right? It goes wrong, you get a fractured something over there.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean? Like, we don't need that,
Nah.
right? So I was like, all right, look, can we request no elbows? So that was okay.
Who'd you fight? Did you fight a Thai guy out there?
Listen,
Yeah.
what I'm going to say is there are many types of fights you can have in Thailand.
Right. There's many types of things you could do in Thailand. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We'll tell you in a few years.
But he had a legit kid, right?
Yeah.
And the kid came to fight. Because I've seen, you know, plenty of fights where it's like, I fought in Thailand, and you watch the fight and you go, you didn't fight in Thailand. That wasn't a fight.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't a fight. Whether it be the person that you fought was just crap,
Yeah.
or the person that you thought was like way undersized.
So just hold that a bit closer.
Yeah. The person was way undersized.
Yeah.
Or like, you can see visually that, okay, you were going to destroy that person. You're always going to destroy that person.
Did they do that? Did they bring some
they do,
people in for
they
the
do.
Westerner? Because I'll tell you why I asked that. I had a mate who did it, and I won't mention his name because it sounds like I'm criticising. I'm not. He was a serious fighter, but he got out there and he said he was in there and they, oh, you're going to fight a Thai. And he was like, fucking hell, like cracking his neck and like, all right then. Like, and he said he got there and the geezer got in. He said, oh, he's shorter than me. Like, he said he got out there and the bloke took his shirt off and he said, oh, he ain't in great shape. And he said then he started like jumping around and like doing all this and no one was cheering, no one knew him. And anyway, long story short, he kicks him in the face in the first round, and he said the guy he's speaking to him after the guy's a tuk-tuk driver. You know, it's like, hey,
and don't get me wrong. Like, some of those tuk-tuk drivers have had 300 fights. Like, you
Have
wouldn't
they?
even.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a client of mine yesterday said to me that he went to Hua Hin and he was in a taxi, and he got speaking to a trainer. He said the trainer used to Thai box, a fighter, blah blah blah. And they got talking, and he happened to mention me, and he's like, yeah, I know him. I used to train him. We trained with him back in Hua Hin, Kuzhou, from Sichapo. And that guy's a legit fighter, had X amount of fights, but now is driving people around, you know? Yeah. So they were, because that's the thing, in Thailand, it is a sport. You don't necessarily become a superstar, but you can feed your family, and it's a job. And then you have other jobs, maybe after that. Maybe you're a trainer plus this job. He's a legit fighter, you know, I don't know how many fights he's had. So there are legit tuk-tuk drivers.
Yeah. Well, the geezer my mate thought, he showed me a picture. Listen, the only fight he had was not to go back to the fucking fridge the 17th time that night. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I mean, right?
He weren't much of a fighter.
So, but what I'm getting to is the kid that he fought was legit. And to be honest, like, his mum showed me a video of this kid fighting another Thai kid, maybe, a month before or something, the same stadium. And if I'd seen that video, I would have been like, no, this is my son's first fight. Like, I'm not putting him in with this kid. Yeah. Like, both kids were good, but he stopped this kid with low kicks, and he just looked like a beast. And for the first 30 seconds, I was like, because he was probably outscoring him for the first 30 seconds, but then Kayin was just a little bit too much for him. Really, and just broke him down. But it was still the whole fight was a good fight, competitive fight, but he was just a bit too much for him. Yeah. And showed me what he's made of. But what I'm saying is, that was sort of like, in my mind, a one-off. It's like, all right, we'll let you have this headshot fight because it's a one-off. We're in Thailand. I'm going to let you have that experience.
Now go and clean your room sharp.
Now go clean your room. and you know, if you want to fight again, we're going back to inner clubs and all the rest of it, right? And you know, obviously after that, he didn't want to have any fights that didn't involve head contact. He didn't want to have any fights that involved shin guards. It's like, mate, you've had like, at that stage, I think he'd had 3 interclubs. And we're like, all right, I know you've had this experience in Thailand, but let's go back to the level that you're supposed to be at. You know what I mean?
But you know, at that age, you feel like,
listen.
Give me the next one.
I get it.
Give me Rod Tang.
So yeah.
Where Rod Tang at?
So basically, you know, we signed him up for.
Sorry, just a bit high.
Yeah, we were doing interclubs and signing him up for fights as well. And immediately, that fight that he had in Thailand was like, it made it difficult for him to get fights because people hear that you've had a fight in Thailand, and like people didn't want to fight him. So he's fought kids that are champs, kids that have had loads of fights, kids that are way more experienced than him.
And he's still beating them.
And he's beating them, yeah. And we're going up north. My missus like, they got good kids up north. I know that. So, you know, we're just traveling wherever. They happen to have more shows up there. So I'm just contacting whoever has shows. So they've got a kid, you know, he's had a fight in Thailand, and they're matching him. I've got some promoters messaging me and going, they've looked on your Instagram and gone, no. So then, like the original kids, there's his level. Do you know what I mean? Like they've had the same amount of fights. They've looked on my Instagram and gone, no, they don't want it. So then he's fighting kids that are a lot more confident because they've had loads of fights. They're champs. They've won this. They've won that. He won and you know, he was offered a title shot. It's like the first fight he had was a #1 contender spot on Fight Series. He's had 1 fight in Thailand. So the first fight he's fighting for, #1 contender spot. He beats that kid. So in theory now, the next fight he's supposed to be having is for the belt. But I think, to be honest, we're going to be in Thailand. But anyway, and then the next fight he got off.
That's a flex, that, isn't it? We can't do it because we're in Thailand. We're going to go bash up some locals out there.
And then the next fight, every fight he's had, he's been up against. He's had 2 #1 contender fights now. So he's got 2 promotions where he's next fighting for the belt. He was offered a fight for a UK belt on his, was that the 3rd fight? 3rd fight, maybe? 4th fight? 4th fight. Again, yeah. So he's got a title now. He went up north to fight the kid and
Where was this? Where'd you go up north?
Durham.
That's far north as well.
And you know, like, don't get me wrong. It felt like when the promoter offered me the fight, you know, you can kind of tell from the language that it feels like we're lucky to fight for this title. It's a good opportunity for him. But I feel like they're expecting us to lose, and that's fine, right? We're going to go up there and prove them wrong.
But does it even matter at this age? It's all training anyway,
doesn't
right?
matter, it
because
doesn't matter,
like,
it doesn't
no
matter.
one cares if you lose when you're 15, right? You do, and at that age, it's the end of the world, right? But like when you're looking back at it now, it's like, hey, listen, if you get to the top, who cares, right?
None of it matters, right? None of it matters because it's all just learning and growth. But at the same time, we're going to win. So we went up there, we fought this kid who's really good. He'd just come off, he just got a bronze in the World Championships. He's good, the kid's good, right?
Serious, yeah, proper serious.
Kid's good, Jesus. Right? And he was the homeboy. They had a good few fighters on the card. They were confident, and they should be because the kid's really good. Kayin beat him. 2nd round, like caught a leg, jumping knee, finished the fight.
Yeah, but you ain't mentioned like when he was 9 when I double-legged him and held him down, he couldn't get up.
True,
the whole
true.
round,
Listen,
the whole round, he couldn't get up. I was only 26 and he was 9.
I'm glad you did, because he told me after the fight, remember that time with Ollie? That's what drove me. I was thinking about that as I was halfway through launching that high jumping knee, it was Ollie.
So if we read between the lines, I'm basically your inspiration in life and like your North Star. But like, we talk about like a cut of purses and stuff as we get to it. But like, from the other point of view of like, obviously you're his dad and you train him and stuff, like, I'm assuming not special treatment in the way of like you ease up on him. Does it go the other way? Do you expect more of him? Is it like extra push-ups, extra kicks, all that stuff?
So at the moment, right, the situation is he is, and the boys know this as well because he's been training a bit longer than them, and obviously, like he's a few steps ahead of them. Right. Because some of them have started to fight now on shows and whatnot, but they know that he's a little bit ahead. So when it comes to fight training, so you know. We were talking about fight camp earlier. We don't have fight camps as such. We just ramp it up a little bit because the boys are training, and now that we've got more than 3 days a week to train, they're training more. But we just ramp it up. So we do, you know, I do get a bit harsher on them in terms of like the sprints, the times that I want when they're doing laps around Battersea Park or whatever it is, and obviously the intensity when it comes to like the pad work, I want more intensity. Like when it comes closer to it, it's like, all right, we've been drilling the technique now. Now it's just about work rate. Now it's about pushing yourselves. And he is fitter than them. And they know that at this stage.
Is that right? Yeah.
He's fitter than me, he's fitter than all of them. So, you know, when we do things like Shark Tank, he does get more.
Did you say he's fitter than you?
Yeah, he's fitter
Come
than
on,
me.
bro.
Yeah,
Really?
listen,
He's fitter than you?
Yeah, mate, listen, I look the part. He knows it as well.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll film it. We'll put you through. We'll do the 1,000 burpee challenge at the end, and we'll see who comes out on top.
It'd be embarrassing. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah.
Like, he's way fitter than me. So, partly because, one, I'm not really training, right? So that's one thing. But two, I was always like my thing was speed and sort of explosivity, right? But my cardio, I have to really work on my cardio side. He's always had the cardio side.
Really?
Yeah. He's a cardio type person. And I think that's partly from his mum as well, because she used to fight and she's more like, she was always way fitter than me.
Well, we haven't mentioned it as well. Mum and dad both fighters. Yeah. That's quite rare, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like we might have to get your missus on at some point, complete the set, haven't we? Have the whole family. And you've got daughters as well. We get them all on. We have like the whole family affair.
We're trying to. You know, they're into BJJ at the minute.
Are they? Good. I like them better than you rap boy over there. You. Nah, but like I'll tell you one thing that came to mind when you was talking about it. Is like I've heard like Liam Harrison talk about like when he was like 14, 15, getting thrown in with blokes that look like 28. Is that something you have to watch with him as well? Like they don't go, oh yeah, we got a kid for you. He's 16, and then really it turns up he's 21.
Yeah, no. At the moment, I mean, because he's only had 8 fights, so at the moment I'm very sort of on who his opponents are, and I'm like, I don't even want him fighting 18-year-olds. He's 15.
Nah.
At the
being
moment,
attacked, and we're coming for us.
You know, he's 15. So no, it's like, it doesn't matter if you're, like I've got a kid at the moment, well, I've got a few kids and because they're varying on weights and stuff, a lot of them are 15, but they vary massively in weight. So some of them are really light and they're getting matched because they're light, they're getting matched against like 12-year-olds and
but that's 90 anyway, isn't it? Like 12 to 15. I don't care if you're the same size.
Well,
like,
this is what I mean. This is what I mean. And you know, but it gets even when you're 12 and 15, your understanding of the sport, I would say, if a 15-year-old's been doing it for 2 years and a 12-year-old's been doing it for 2 years, the 15-year-old just understands the sport more.
And his body's
It's
harder,
great.
the whole thing, innit?
But then when you get to 18 and 15, like he's getting closer to manhood, that 18-year-old. So I'm not chucking him in with 18-year-olds.
No.
At the moment, he's fought some older guys on interclubs.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
bash them up too.
And I'm kind of like,
there you go.
And I'm kind of like, look, we'll see how it goes because obviously he is older. So let's see how the power goes.
Yeah.
And then we'll both sort of corners will look at each other and go, yeah, we can ramp it up a little bit as long as it's not getting out of hand.
Right.
And you know, because I want him to be tested. But no, I'm not just chucking him in. That's not my.
You got to be careful.
And he's good. He's tough. Yeah. But I'm not about to see my kid.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that jumps out with me, like when you say how good he is and stuff like that. But like if you look at Kayin, he looks the age he is, right? Which is to me would be an advantage in terms of like you're developed properly. You know, like some kids at 15, they look 25, they got muscles coming out of everywhere you can have them, and like they can. Not obviously, I'm not that educated on Muay Thai, but in a lot of combat sports, they get to a good level quick because of physicality, and then all of a sudden they get in there with a slick 25-year-old who goes, "Thanks for coming, kid." And like it's dangerous, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Whereas where you look the age you are, you're going to develop properly, right? In terms of, oh, hello.
I've got to let him in.
Good, let him in. I'll grill Kayin about Jiu Jitsu again while you're gone. Hold on to that, mate. Hold it. Sort of. Oh wow, you're looking every bit of your years at that point, bro. So hold it sort of this close to your face, mate. So like with what your dad's saying and stuff like that, of watching flight, because I remember what it's like being 15, right? At 15, you just think you can take on the world, and then you're just like, if they offered you a fight with a 25-year-old, I'm assuming you'd tell me you'd take it. But like, is it hard or is it easy working with your dad in terms, like obviously you've got the benefit of his experience and his training and the way he's going to put you through it, but is there also an element of sometimes like, do you get to the point where it's like, come on, Dad, let me go.
I think I had those feelings more when I came back from Thailand because like I just wanted to have fights for headshots.
Yep.
But now I kind of understand why he says that no to that, and I understand that it's not even that. It's not even like fights without headshots. It's not that bad.
Right, and it's part of your development anyway, right? Because as we've said before, it's like you're going to get to the point where you're fighting full Thai rules, elbows flying at your head, spinning stuff, all sorts, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's like almost like your apprenticeship. I know that's not the right word, but like it is in a way, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You sort of hone your skills and whatever. And I'm of the opinion as well that when you limit skills in a certain area, when you take them limitations off, everything else becomes sharper and easier, doesn't it? Because if me and you were going to fight now, we're only allowed to punch each other in the belly, versus suddenly right now you can punch me in the head as well. He wouldn't hit my head because I'm far too slick for him. We'll put some sparring up earlier of that famous round when he was 9 and I held him down the whole time. But no, jokes aside, like with headshots coming into play, if I think firstly, I'm kind of saying the wrong thing because you've already had a fight with the headshots anyway, right? But is that kind of like do you look at that as a big deal, or is that just like it'll come when it comes? It'll come when it comes. Yeah, I got you. Because with Thai fighters fighting in Thailand, like as we touched on earlier, I think some of them like fight to feed their family at the age of 9, right? Like they're not limited in rules, right? They're just having a Thai fight at that age. But do they also burn themselves out early as well? Does that come into play? Do they kind of get like mashed up before they're sort of even in their physical prime?
What do you mean?
So like if you've had 300 fights. Or not 300, a bit extreme, but if you've had 100 fights by the time your body's going to have a lot more damage than it has, right? If you've been getting your legs kicked and your face elbowed and stuff like that, by the time you're 25, it might be time to like wrap up and stuff like that. Yeah. Is that a thing in Thailand, or do they? I don't know how smart can you train when you're fighting that often?
See, a lot of them do retire very young. Mm-hmm. Like a couple of the trainers at Sichapo, like only like 23.
Yeah.
Like now they're just retired, just holding pads now. So,
yeah. Well, that's my experience as well. Years ago, I was in Phuket top team, and the guy who was holding pads for me, I had a private with, I believe he was 26 at the time. He had over 200 fights, and he was retired. And I was probably 24-ish, but like 26 seemed young to me then, and it definitely seems young to me now. What do you think, Dan? 26 is quite young? 20, but he was retired, and he was like, he couldn't do it anymore, you know? And I just thought like, the wear and tear. You might be the better person to ask for this question, actually, in terms of like the Thais, are they sort of worn down early because of the amount of fights they have?
Generally, yeah. I mean, you see...
Because you're 44, you told me.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it on here to out you, but you look like you're 25, so you're fine. But like, there ain't 44-year-old Thais fighting in Thailand, is there?
Not unless they're superstars like Sanchai and...
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, yeah, why would you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why would you? I mean... Yeah, generally they start super young and they retire young, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because, your body does it. I can't remember his name now because I'm not into football, but one of my clients took me to Naples and we were sitting with Ancelotti.
Okay.
You know him? Ancelotti.
Of course I do, former Chelsea manager.
I don't know anything. Anyway,
Ancelotti.
We were sitting with him, right?
Whoa, all right.
And,
Come on, get him on the podcast, bro. Hook a brother up. What's the matter with you?
And they're family friends, and we were eating pizza, and he was saying that, you know, sport generally it's good for people health-wise, but professional sport, just, you know, when you take it to a certain level, breaks down your body and just messes you up, you know, and that's not even combat sports.
No, that's just anything.
He's just talking about just taking it to that level where you're hammering your body. It's harsh, you know.
In Thailand, they're not earning like £1 million paydays. Historically, it might be a bit different now, but
I'm sure it's probably changing. I don't know too much, but I mean, it's a job, so it's enough to feed your family and all the rest of it. But I think it's that combination of, one, your body just being broken down, right? And then two, just you dedicating your life to something for so long, and then all of a sudden you don't have to. It's like a lot of them drink and smoke. Like, I was amazed when I first started going to Thailand. A lot of my trainers, like in between sessions, they're just smoking, and I was like, but still, if you spar with them, they've got cardio for days.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're not anywhere near as fit as they used to be, but it's just ingrained in them to
sufficiency
have a certain,
as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, sufficiency
you're
as
good,
well.
You're so good at it, you're not using energy, you know what I mean?
I'm sure, like back in the day as well, where I wasn't as, wasn't as experienced or knowledgeable about the sport, I was probably knackering myself unnecessarily as well,
right.
Whereas they probably knew the little tricks and you know.
That's the excuse I'm using why I was so fucked on the pads that day. I weren't really tired, I was just working too hard.
But yeah, I think there's that where you just go like, right, I'm done now. Let me just enjoy myself and eat and drink and smoke or whatever. All the
Enjoy
things
Thailand,
I'm not allowed to do.
Right,
Or
right.
I wasn't allowed to do because it's just regimented. Imagine like 6 days a week. And there isn't much change. You just train hard.
If you got a sore knee, you get on with it, right?
Don't get me wrong, you can kind of like ease off training a little bit and you have a week off after a fight or whatever it is, but it's same thing, same grind, 6 days a week, twice a day.
I think a lot of them, didn't they used to do like 10K runs in the morning and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that a myth? Is that like...
No, some gyms is a bit more, some gyms is a bit less.
That's fucking boring every day, isn't
it?
it?
Yeah,
Jesus
like
Christ.
you do like, I don't know, like an 8K or something in the morning, maybe a 5K, 4K in the afternoon or whatever it is.
1K will do, eh?
I'm telling you, and obviously certain gyms are a little bit more on you. And you know, sometimes you're running with a group, so you have to do it. Sometimes you run by yourself and you don't quite do the run, you know? And some gym, it depends where you're at and depends if that gym makes money from their fighters. But it's pretty mundane, right?
That's funny, that's funny. We've got people coming in, we start wrapping this up.
To do that every day for however long, it's, do you know what I mean? It's not for everyone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, just before we do start slowing it down, is like when I was in Thailand once, I was speaking to a cab driver and he was dropping me to I think it was Tiger Muay Thai I was going to. And he said about that and I said, well, you know, I'm just chatting away and he was basically saying to me, like in Thailand, for him, like where he grew up, like if you're a Thai boxer, it's like looked down on. He was like, very little money, like basically looking at these people like they're almost like subhuman. Do you know what I mean? Is that the culture? Or is that just a miserable cab driver?
I think to some extent, yeah, because it's the poor working class people that are Thai boxers. I think there have been a few over the years. It's like, why is he a Thai boxer? He comes from like family money, but generally speaking, they're poor, and that's why it's like combat sports. Generally, you know, that age-old thing that you hear about is, you know, that hunger creates hunger, as in that literal hunger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're guys, you reckon you can let whoever that is in, please? Yeah, man. It's just a different drive because you can. I mean, we know poor. You know, like being poor here is still supported.
It's a different poor out there, isn't it?
It's a different poor out there. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I can't wrap my head around that kind of level of being that poor. But
it's strange to see it when you're out there and you see that level of poverty real in front of you. It is a different poor, isn't it? Like these people would like. That's the real meaning of poor.
People rummaging through. And there's no safety net. Well, actually, look, I don't know how Thai government runs its affairs, but at the end of the day, like it's a different type of poverty. Yeah. And if you can bring yourself out of that by having a few fights,
you'll take that option.
For sure.
You'll take that option. You know? But boys, this has been good. We're getting you on as you get a bit older and you've won more world titles. Daniel, always a pleasure, my mate. Yes. Before we finish, you know what I'm going to ask you. You better get yourself together, you. Most important question of the day. I've asked you before, so you better get yourself together too. What football team you support?
Arsenal.
But I'm not even a football fan. Give him the mic. You ain't getting that shade. Give him the mic. Who you support?
Arsenal.
Boys, the whole podcast ruined for me. But mate, listen, I really appreciate you. As I say, always good. I always finish with a fist up like this. Squeeze the neck. Boom!